So I've got something pretty cool to show you guys. It's a smartwatch, and if we open up the box here, just kidding, it's on my wrist right here. Let's take a peek at the Coros Vertix watch. Alright, well, this is the awesome case it comes in, but we're here to talk about the Coros Vertix series watch. Now, the Vertix is their newest creation in terms of adventure smartwatches, which is different than what you're getting with like an Apple Watch, a Samsung, a Garmin, it doesn't matter, Fitbit, it doesn't matter what other smartwatch we're talking about. It's not essentially what this thing is. This is designed for adventurists, people that are actually going to the extreme, mountaineering, backpacking, you name it. This thing is kind of built for the people that have that outdoor frame of life in tow. Now, there's a lot of specs to get into with this, which we're going to get into as many as I possibly can. If I miss a few things, I apologize. I am only human. However, we are going to show you, I'll show you how it comes to with this awesome case, and it kind of goes with that ruggedness capability. This is a GPS, full altimeter, barometric pressure based watch. It will tell you all the good stuff that if you're used to outdoor type watches, which I am. I used to own a Sunto watch, which I loved. It was about as big as this. So going to even the large Apple Watch was a downsize for me specifically. I've done a lot of backpacking in my life, done a lot of mountaineering, a lot of climbing, and so I understand what this is going for. This is going for the rugged approach, something that is intensely well built, way better built than even my Apple Watch is. Thing has amazing battery life, and when I first read it, when they were sending me this watch, I was like, 45 days. It says 45 days of normal use, not 45 days of standby time, and you'll get more like 15 to 20 days of actual usage. No, this is 45 days of actual normal usage, even using the GPS on occasion. 60 full hours of GPS tracking, which means if you have this thing on in GPS mode, non-stop tracking, it'll go for 60 hours of it. It's amazing how accurate they are in terms of the battery life. This thing has amazing battery life. I can't even tell you how good it is because I have not really killed the battery. And now I'm not using this as my primary watch, although it is on my dominant hand. So that's usually not where you wear a watch, but I didn't want to stop doing my Apple Watch because the best way to actually compare these, and I don't want like putting them on the same wrist, is to wear them at the same time. And there is some drastic things that are different in terms of these two watches. There's things that you can do with the Apple Watch in terms of Apple things and smart things that you really can't do with the Vertix. And that's, for instance, I can get a text message, I'll get them on both. But responding, I'm going to be doing that on the Apple Watch, right? With this, I'm going to have to get my phone out to really do the responding. But the notification-wise, I actually noticed it come up on the Vertix 90% more than I noticed it on my Apple Watch. And I think that has two things. One, gets your attention better. The taptic that the Apple Watch does, I actually do like. It kind of gives you that little wrist tap. This thing gives you a good, robust hit. Like, hey, you got a message. I also noticed that if I was to receive a text message at any time, now that I have a Series 2, the Series 3 and 4 are faster watches than this guy. So this is because of my Series 2 most likely. But the text message came up on my Vertix first, and then it came on the Apple Watch. Sometimes it was boom, boom. Sometimes it was on here, 5 seconds later on here. It's kind of weird, which I think I give that more to the aging configuration of my Apple Watch than I do to the speed of the Vertix. But it's something to notice. It does a really good job. It is robust in that it gives me that message just as often as I ever got it on my Apple Watch. So reliability, even with people that are using iPhones, fantastic. Screen. Not as bright. The screen is definitely brighter on my Apple Watch with an OLED display. This has a backlight. You can turn on the backlight at any time using the light function and it'll light it up. Not nearly as good looking as my Apple Watch. and not nearly as bright in terms of doing it in full daylight, but no problem being able to read it even in full sunlight. So they did a pretty good job on that. However, another thing to notice is my Apple Watch I have scratched quite a few times. This thing I haven't even gotten close to scratching, I don't think. It does have a sapphire display, so it is incredibly hard, like diamonds, right? It is awesome in terms of its capability there. And then the structure is actually titanium. This thing's built out of titanium and sapphire glass, so it's built like a tank. It's the best way I can possibly describe it. GPS function and accuracy, just as good as my Apple Watch. I have no problems, at least for it tracking me at all in terms of my steps. It does everything that my Apple Watch does, the heart rate, everything. Now, of course, you could argue probably that the Apple Watch is maybe a little bit more accurate in terms of the heart capabilities and, of course, the advanced algorithms that they're putting into the Apple Watches, specifically the newer ones. But that's obviously refined to a smaller section of the market than the broad appeal of a smartwatch in general and being able to just track your heart rate. So it is a step in the direction of the Apple Watch, but I don't think a huge step. It really comes down to who you are. Now, the nice thing about the Apple Watch is that it can notify you if you have an irregular heartbeat or anything like that, so that's something not to take away. That's fantastic in my opinion, and I wish more and more companies would actually embrace that. So, I'm not trying to do a comparison between the two, but that's the easiest way that I can actually tell you how this is. Now, when I got this watch, and this is kind of a spoiler, we're going to bring it in here in a second, I was really hesitant to how much I'm going to actually like this thing. I knew it was going to be bigger, and I was fine with that because I've had bigger watches in the past, and I liked my bigger watches, to be honest about it. But I was hesitant whenever you're talking about a smartwatch, how good is this thing going to really be? I could see myself buying this over the Apple Watch. Straightforward and honest about it. And it's going to come down to your lifestyle and what you do. If I did more mountaineering still, the battery life alone and the quality of build, as well as what it can do for people that are actually out in the open country or in the backcountry, substantially better watch than the Apple Watch, in my opinion. You're talking a day to 2 days of battery, up to 45 days of battery, and if you're on a good trip, you could be out there for a week or so, or 2 weeks or more, and I don't even have to worry about charging this thing. So big advantages in that regard. So let me show you how it comes, and let me show you how it is. I'll take it off. I'll show you how it charges. So let's go from there. Alright, so you get this wonderful large waterproof container, kind of like a Pelican case or a OtterBox case. Has the standard full waterproof clasps on it. And then when you open it up, this is what you're greeted with is the watch itself. Now this is where the watch was, this is where the band was. So pretty obvious there. I took the sticker off the face. Under here is where we get to all the cable, the charge cable and everything is in here, which is just a small little box. And then in here you have your user guide. And then what you can do is you can just take out the rest of this foam and essentially have yourself a waterproof case to use from here on out. Now it does have the Coros label on it. So you know where it came from. But this is they give you this for a reason. This is for you to use, right? It's not something that, oh, it's just for a gimmick, it's just, to have. No, you get this with the watch, which is pretty awesome. Just a nice little bonus. Outside of that, the watch itself. Now this is the kind of the silver face with an orange band. They offer it in 4 different colors. One that's full black band, black watch. I believe it's like a forest green band with like a bronze colored watch, which I actually like as well. And then other than that, you also have I want to say it's like a navy, a light dark blue band with a dark blue face as well. And what I mean by face is this band on the outside. It's kind of like when you're talking about the Apple Watch. It's just the metal, the metallic alloy, what color the metallic alloy is. So you can see here, if I hold it up here, hopefully you can see the face. This is one of many faces. You can change this face. It's not set in stone. There's a lot of various faces out there that I can show you. You can also do it within the app, but you choose which face you want, fully customizable. And then, of course, with the face, it'll tell you the information that you want to see. However, I actually like the traditional watch face, so I stuck with that one. On the back of the watch, you can see you have the light sensor for your heart rate. And then down here on the bottom of the watch, technically, there's a little contact piece for the actual charger, which is just this USB cable. It is a proprietary end, but of course I'm sure that's just because of the waterproof, things like that. I don't know. That just basically snaps on, and when you have it plugged in, she's charging up. Now, because of the battery life on this thing, it's not something that you're going to be doing regularly, right? It's not something that you're going to be doing every night or anything like that. You can track a lot with this thing and not worry about the battery life. Also, with the cord itself, it doesn't matter which way you plug it in. It'll plug in either way. So they did a really good job with that. Also, similar to like an Apple Watch or any of those other ones, it's really easy to remove the bands. If you look up here, there's just kind of a spring-loaded piece here. You pull on that, and it just kind of unhooks the band itself. Same thing with putting it back on. You put it over here, you pull on that, you put it back on, you reclasp it. Real quick and easy, both sides the exact same way. And so you can switch between, if you want this on the bottom versus the top, it doesn't really matter. Same thing goes if you get one color down the road and you want to get the other color band. I'm sure you could, they probably sell them on their website, to be honest. I haven't looked myself, but that's something that you should be able to do. So that's what it looks like up and close. And this is really the only accessory that you're going to need other than the application. That's where everything else is golden, just like any other smartwatch. It all depends on the apps and how you actually integrate this thing with the phone. Pay no mind to that crazy number there. Anyway, let's open up the Coros app. And from within here, we can see that now, right now it's not actually synced to. If I swipe down, it should actually start downloading data from the actual watch itself. Usually it doesn't take very often as long as you're close by the watch itself. And we'll give it a moment. Oh, there's an update, looks like, for the firmware of it. We'll do that later. And so there it did connect and download data. So I haven't worn it very much today. It tells you how many calories you burned, gives you your access. And this is obviously similar to probably a lot of watches. Heart rates, and I've actually already gone for a little bit of a walk this morning. It gives you information. I guess not really a walk. I was not on a walk. I'm sorry, a skateboard ride on my electric skateboard. But you can see just the stuff at a glance. You can also go to your workouts. There's a couple of the workouts that I have in here. It'll tell you how many miles you've gone. It'll give you the data and the map, of course, of that actual workout, which is nice. I had more workouts, and then I'm less said about that, the better. But this is where your workouts will actually be done. This will tell you the information on yourself, I guess. I had more than this at one point. However, I did a full reset to kind of get ready for this review of doing setup things like that. And yeah, I actually reset the app. It's my bad. And then we go to the watch itself. We can see information. This is where we can change the watch face setting. And you can see the various watch faces that you can actually add to the watch. There's quite a few different options. And, I mean, there's not as many as there is maybe on the Apple Watch and stuff, and they're not quite as customizable, but there is basically a watch face to fit most people, to be honest. It all depends on what information you want on the actual face. In here as well, you can see satellite data, altitude performance, all customizable things within the actual watch itself. If you have, this is where you can actually get rid of your watch if you want to resync it, like I did. But that's basically what you're looking at there within the app itself. I'm trying to do this with as little glare as I can, but to show you the differences on the actual watch stuff, we do have kind of like that scroll wheel that you see, same kind of thing that you get on the Apple Watch that lets you scroll through the menus and things like that. Same thing if you want to unlock. You kind of scroll up slowly, unlocks, and then we can actually go into choosing trail run, all these things, pool swimmer, because this is fully waterproof, more waterproof than the Apple Watch for sure. Indoor bike ride or outdoor bike ride, hike, mountain climb, trail run, lots of options in terms of the activities that you can actually track on this thing. The back button back here will head back. Up here's light, so you can see I don't know if you can tell the difference between the light being on or versus being off. Right now it's on. Over here we'll have kind of the just nothing over here, just a nub, no button at all. So you kind of push and hold on these depending on the thing. So if we actually hit and push on the back button, we could actually get into like compass, actually sync compass, your alarms, do not disturb modes, system settings, watch face, where you can choose between the faces that you have saved, altitude performance, kind of the same thing we were doing there. Actually see the map, so let's pull up the map. Oh, I guess we're not in run mode though, so sorry. and then of course navigation stuff. So Ultramax, which we'll get into here in a second, and HR measurement. So lots of modes built into this guy, and very simple on how to actually operate it. It's designed to operate with a glove on, which is why they give you this big guy here, even bigger than the Apple Watches and more nubs on it to grab onto. So that's something to say as well. So you saw that Ultramax mode in here. Essentially what that is it's designed kind of, I think, for less intensive activities, like hiking. Something that's not crazy fast, something that's going to be a little bit slower. Essentially, so like before I said about 60 hours of actual GPS usage, then you're looking at up to 100 hours. Or it might be 150 on this watch. You get substantially more usage out of the GPS in Ultramax mode. Essentially, it tries to elongate out the points that it's taking. So it gives you better battery life, but it's going to be designed for more of the lighter weight activities that you're doing. Not going to be for running so much, because you're moving a lot more distance at a time. So it depends on what you're doing. But hiking, something that's a little bit slower, Ultramax mode is designed for that. Another thing to see, it is a big watch. And I'm not going to say there's no heft to this thing, but it's technically what they say is the lightest smart watch in its category. It's 54 grams, but for an adventure type watch, that is not a crazy amount of weight. Something else to say, this is the only strap length that it does come with. I'm not saying that you can't get other strap lengths, but this is the strap that it comes with. So, you know, they show like it strapped to the outside and things like that, depending on what you're strapping around. It does work in extreme temperatures. It's designed even to go to like negative 20 degrees Celsius, which is negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit, and only have a 30% loss in terms of its battery performance. That's awesome, because you're not going to get that with something like this. So, like I said, designed for the extremes, designed for people adventurous in mind. I went into this trying to have as open mind as possible, but, you know, obviously thinking like, well, it's going to be a smartwatch like any other smartwatch. It's not going to be near as smart as my Apple Watch, and I'm probably not even going to be that interested in it. But I'd like to, you know, give it as best opinion as possible. I came out of it saying, awesome, awesome watch, specifically for those in mind that are going to use it for those purposes. Also, we were talking about waterproof as well. The Apple Watch is a 50 meter water resistant. This is 150 meters. If that tells you anything about its build quality and how much pressure this thing can handle, I don't know what else would. I have a hard time telling you what else would. Let me know what you think about this thing, because I'm sold. I think it's awesome. I love it. I love the build quality. I love the responsiveness of it. I love how resilient it is. I love the battery life. God, the battery life is amazing. It is a seller by itself, in my opinion, because I can see myself in my past going out for 1 to 2 weeks on a backpacking trip. I can't take this because I can't bring enough batteries to charge it up without running out of juice for anything else. I just couldn't see myself doing it. I love my Apple Watch. I do. I love it. But the battery life for longevity is terrible. It really is. Now you'd have to bring a solar panel. You'd have to sit down. You'd have to charge stuff back up. And where I'd be backpacking, be in the middle of the forest, I couldn't do it. I just literally couldn't do it. I can do it. And man, would it be awesome to have this back then. So, in the future, I guess, right? Maybe I'll be taking this on with some adventures. So, thank you very, very much for to Coros to sending this over to me, because I'm sure I didn't hit on all points. And of course, there are so many things to talk about with any product, but there are so many advanced things that they did with this thing for those people that are outside doing awesome stuff. Rock climbers, backpackers, hikers, mountaineers, you name it. This is made for you guys. I would take a peek at it. They did a really good job with it, and I hope, I wish them nothing but the best. Really do. So they have a series of watches. This is the Vertix, which I believe is their newest, from what I can see. But definitely take a peek at it. I will post links directly to their website. You can look at exactly what I was talking about in terms of specifications. If I misspoke, please let me know. Let everybody else know what you think of it. If this is something that piques your interest, hey, by all means, send me a line. Go over to techgooch.com and you can actually send an email directly to me. I typically respond to most emails that are at least constructive. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know. Check us out at techgooch.com. Please comment, like this video, because, hey, if nothing else, it gets people to see this, and that's why you should share this as well. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you can, and I appreciate you guys coming by, stopping by, seeing the awesome Coros Vertix watch. So thank you for stopping by, and we'll catch you back here for another future review video. We'll see you soon.